Hey y'all, this is Stretcher Slayer coming at y'all with another video, and before we get started, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Now today y'all, we're getting into Dexter Resurrection, episode 5, Murder Horny. Now y'all, the episode picks up from episode 4, the ending of episode 4, when Ginger Snap had to stop Harrison annoying ass from turning himself in and confessing to everything. And luckily, Ginger Snap stops him in time, and Harrison freaks out like, Dad? Like we seen in the last episode. I'm like, no shit, yeah, he was there. And he was like, wait, you're alive? What are you doing here? Like, no, let go of me and everything. I'm like, boy, shut the hell up and let him explain. And he was like, I will explain to you, but let's get the hell away from here. Like, yeah, I'm alive and well, so let's get the hell out of here and I'll explain everything to you. I'm like, right, why are you doing an Tiger Mouse in front of the damn police station? Like, are you trying to get you and your daddy caught? Like, but I'm so sick of this character, it's not even funny. So Ginger Snap takes him to his apartment and they have a father-son chat, and Harrison decides to break the ice and asks, okay, how are you still alive? So after the events in Iron Lake, which is from Dexter New Blood if you haven't watched that, when Ginger Snap forced Harrison to shoot him, he explained to Harrison that he survived due to the low temperatures and it slowed his heart rate to the point he didn't lose as much blood, and he was in a 10-week coma. And then Harrison took me out when he was like, you're like a damn horror movie villain. You're like Michael Myers or the one with the hockey mask. I'm like, how you gonna name Michael Myers but don't know who the Jason Voorhees is? Like, sir, be for real. And we hear Dexter's inner monologue, like, I guess there are some similarities. Yeah, but at least Dexter's a killer with a conscience. They continue their conversation, and Harrison explains to him how it haunts him that day in the woods and how he can't get, proper sleep and he just can't live with the guilt. And then he asks Ginger Snap how did he get out of the mess in Iron Lake, and he explained that his ex exonerated him of all charges and, everything was in self-defense. And he tries to bond with Harrison in terms of what Harrison's going through, in terms of how he knows he bopped and flopped Ryan. And he says, I noticed you use the techniques that I taught you, like the garbage bags and the 9 pieces and such. And I want you to know, like, I know exactly what you're going through. Then the thing I love about Dexter's writers and this whole Dexter universe is they're consistent. I love that we get a flashback of Ginger Snap back in Original Sin, and if you haven't watched Dexter Original Sin, which is a prequel, it's also on Paramount Plus and Showtime, definitely check that out. Because we see the clip when Ginger Snap explains to Harrison that a known repeat offender tried to essay Deb back in college, and then we see the scene back when Ginger Snap and Deb and Sophia went to that college party, and then that dumbass frat guy tried to take advantage of Deb, and Ginger Snap almost, bopped and flopped him, but Deb quickly tackled him. And I hate, like, that he got away. I was so hoping Ginger Snap took him out, but apparently he didn't. I was like, damn, it could just been a, side mission that I would have loved to see. But nonetheless, he then brings up his first kill, which was Nurse Mary, the one who tried to bop and flop Harry when he was a little bit younger. So it was nice seeing the callbacks to Dexter Original Sin and how that plays into Dexter's adult life as well, since that was Dexter's 20-year-old self versus the father he has become now. And, Harrison's not trying to succumb to Dexter's way of life in terms of saying he's not like him and the guilt is eating him up, and he keeps hearing the ticking of Ryan's watch. And Ginger Snap has a realization like, wait, and then I guess we're not alike in terms of Harrison having that urge to kill like he has, which he quickly realizes. I'll say throughout the episode, he learns he can't mold Harrison into his specific personality that Dexter had to grow up with. Although him and Harrison had similar traumatic experiences with their mother, Harrison has a more guilty conscience than Ginger Snap does, because at least Ginger Snap's vengeance for getting rid of trash in the world drives him to go, like he explains to Harrison. But Harrison's, crashing out, not having any of it, trying to keep up this barrier between him and Dexter, and he just storms out of Dexter's place, and Dexter still tries to reason with him. But then we see Harry's ghost, reminding Dexter just the way a conversation just won't specifically fix this situation. Then we see Prater getting ready to do some kind of interview for a TV special, it seems like, and to learn that the host is gagged that he grew up in a foster home, and that's how he acquired his wealth, by working so hard and paying off the mortgage to his foster home and paying off mortgages of people who adopted from said foster home. So I was like, so I wonder if he had a mentor similar to Ginger Snap, had a Trinity killer kind of mentor Dexter a bit. What is his fascination and obsession with these serial killers? I just wonder if that's going to be explored more later on in the show, which I'm pretty sure it is. Because she was gagged, so usually people want to broadcast that. Why you don't want to broadcast that? Because he wants to keep that under wraps. So I don't know why he wants to keep that secret, unless that's a farce and he's just lying about his upbringing. But you just gotta stay tuned and see what's to come. We see Ginger Snap calling Mira to set up a date since he wants to make up for running out on her last time. And we actually see Detective Claw calling back Harrison since his dumbass didn't realize his number will be on record and saved and sort of, because she hit him up yeah, you didn't leave a voicemail, so what's up, why are you calling me? And he was coming up with some shit excuse, he butt dialed and she wasn't having anything. She was like, okay, cut all the bullshit, you gonna have to meet me in person so we can talk in person. He was like, damn, yeah. I'm like, why you keep making these damn rookie ass mistakes? Didn't Ginger Snap already get you out of the hot water? He ain't never learning, y'all. So we see Ginger Snap going on that bowling date that he promised Mira, and they seem like they're vibing, and I'm like, okay, he finally found a genuine partner that, matches his energy, like I thought, but it seems like she really doesn't. So in the midst of between scenes of their bowling day, we were flashback to Detective Claude interrogating Harrison, and Harrison's just talking about how he wanted to contact Sherry, the medical student for Iowa that he saved from Ryan's clutches. How he wanted to apologize to her for not doing more, how he feels guilty. Then Detective Claude catches that word guilty. She's like, guilty? That's an interesting way to say how you're feeling. And legally I can't give out victims' phone numbers, especially to potential suspects. And then he's all jittery again with his dumb ass, wait, I'm still a suspect? She was like, well, yes. And he was like, okay, fine, I'm going at it. She was like, yeah, you go, you're not under arrest. I'm like, she's a really good damn detective. And I'm looking at Harrison why do you keep burying yourself further and further? Do you know where's your shut the hell up button? I'm so sick of him. Gosh, can you shut up? Ugh, so annoying. Jump back to Ginger Snap and Mirror. Ginger Snap and Mirror on their date as they sip wine and chit chat, and then he wants to get to know the real her. He gets shocked by when she says she hates title Lady Vengeance because it only stuck to her because her first victim, which was a stepfather who assaulted her sister, and she did admit to attacking a few men like him. But then she hit him with a curveball and she was like, okay, I kind of want to have a night out with your way of doing things. Meaning she wanted to see him go take out a poor your car driver. He was like, well, it's going to be hard to kind of find a your car driver who is a repeat offender and an abuser. He's like, well, I got a little confession. I don't just go after abusers. I going after men in general in a sense. So she's basically just admits that she's just this apex predator that just likes to kill. And you can just see Ginger Snap's face. This breaks his heart. I was like, damn, I thought she was a real one and matching Ginger Snap's energy. Poor Ginger Snap, he can't ever catch a break. He done lost Rita and Sophia. I'm like, oh, Ginger Snap. I'm like, where's Ginger Snap, babe, when he need him? Stay loyal, but nah. And she don't even match his energy, and she's the very thing he has to take out. He hates that he has to admit that Harriet was right in terms of everything's not what it seems, and he kind of gets quiet and she catches it. She was like, did I say something wrong? Don't tell me you were buying that whole Lady Vengeance thing. He was like, oh no, like, I don't have a problem. She hits him with another damn curveball. Y'all talking about, okay, how about we go tonight? He like, tonight? Yeah, she wanted to see him in action with a potential victim. I'm like, oh, this girl is insane. Like, I was not expecting this. And I was rooting for them. I was really rooting for them. I hate that she turned out to be the very thing he has to destroy in the end. I'm like, so annoying. I was really a nice companion for him. But nonetheless, we also see Charlie visiting her mother in the hospital. It looks like she's suffering from a malignant brain tumor, glioblastoma. She chit-chats with her mom, so it seems like Prater has her on a tight leash too, in terms of if she ever tries to turn against him, he'll do something to her mother. That's why I feel like, given how sad she was talking to her and the false story she was coming up with, saying how a student was reading for the first time and stuff and everything. So I'm interested to see how that's gonna develop later on and whether she's gonna turn against Leon or not. That should be interesting. Y'all let me know down in the comments. Do y'all think Charlie's gonna turn against Leon? That'll definitely be interesting. Plot twist I would not see coming. My favorite moments also from this episode is when Ginger Snap was contemplating on whether to go chase down Harrison. Blessing's mom collapsed on the front steps, and I guess this is a frequent thing since she's 84 years old. And it gives Ginger Snap a moral insight on how he wants to live out the rest of his days. Because she snaps on Blessing basically because Blessing wants her to go to the hospital because she did have a concussion. She was bleeding on her forehead and she definitely needed some medical attention. But she shooed him off and just told him to go get her some tea. And she explains to Ginger Snap, like, look, I've seen the world. I've been all around here. I've looked in the face of good and evil. And then we hear his inner monologue saying, well, you're looking at both right now. I just love Dexter, y'all. It's so crazy. She just tells him, I don't want to have my last moments be surrounded by doctors, nurses, and I'm just in a confined room. I want to be surrounded by those I love in a home I raised them in, with all the friends that eat my good cooking. And Ginger Snap basically says, so you don't want to die alone? And she's basically like, exactly. So she wants to leave in peace and love, not in stress and worry and confinement. So that was an interesting perspective to transition from life to death. So Ginger Snap definitely gained some insight from that. That was definitely one of my favorite moments from this episode as well. So we jump back to Mirror and Ginger Snap on the hunt, since she's still under the impression that Ginger Snap is Red, who is the dark passenger who targets your car drivers. And Mirror was like, okay, how difficult can it be? And everything. And she tries to stop this random car. Thank God, Ginger Snap quickly intervened, like, oh, sorry, we ordered SUV. And she was like, what the hell? Like, we had one right there. And he was like, I'm sorry, I don't usually like to share my practice with just anyone. And she was like, oh, it seems like someone's getting blue balls in a sense, in terms of not wanting to kill together in a sense. So she felt insulted that he didn't want to show her how it's done in terms of the brutality that the dark passenger used against his victims. So she decides that the date's a fail, and she was like, okay, we don't got to do this. We could just do this some other time. But I'm looking for you. I don't got murder horny. Who the hell says murder horny? Hence the name of the title of the episode. Y'all, this is funny as hell. So I guess she decides to go target some random unfortunate man and tells Dexter that she'll see him later at Prater's. I'm like, child, this is not going to end well, y'all. And Ginger Snap decides to take the initiative. To Mirror's place as Mirror's on a hunt, and she does target this man who's sitting alone at a table and tells him whatever happens next is all on you. So she's basically already marked him as her target, so I guess that's the one she's going to take home. And unlucky for her, Ginger Snap was already in her place planting the evidence. He placed the oxidized bleach in her under her sink, and he placed Ryan's watch in her trophy musical box. So he also opens her curtain and he sees a high-rise spot that he could hide at and watch the whole thing. And she quickly brings home the guy. I'm like, dang, she was quick as hell with that one. and he's drunk, slurred speech, and admires her apartment. Then she asks, does he want a glass of wine? And then he's like, oh, well, I'm not really a vino guy. And then she was like, that's unfortunate. She clocks him in the back of the head, y'all. Hard-ass glass of wine. I'm shot and break. It must have been, obviously, some kind of makeshift weapon of hers that she used to subdue her victims, because it should have shattered on impact like any other glass. Because I was like, damn. She clocked him pretty hard. So he flopped, and the guy knocked out, and Ginger Snap just watching this whole thing. We see him strapped up, a BDSM like platform. That she has him strapped to it. She has him ball gagged and everything. Like, she was like, lucky for you, you're my first kill in New York. They like, what the hell? And then we see her torture accoutrements on her coffee table. And she obviously already took his tie clip, which will be her trophy of the night. And Ginger Snap just watching this whole thing. I'm looking like, she really is slipping. Like, you didn't think to close your curtain or anything. Like, I'm like, she got too cocky, y'all. And Ginger Snap calls the NYPD with this New York accent. It was so funny, y'all. I'm like, this man is just multi-talented for no reason. Like, he could just switch personalities just like that, and it's just fascinating to watch. I'm like, Michael C. Hall does a great job at portraying Dexter. Like, this show is definitely top tier. I'm really enjoying it. It gives him an address, and right before she says she's about to bop and flop the poor guy, and she was gonna pour some to blind him, and making sure he feels the pain, they break in like SWAT and just swarm the place and arrest her. And just not feel satisfied, like, okay, that's one down in terms of the cult. Now Harrison could live a more easier life. And this could definitely be true if Harrison learned how to shut the hell up and stop running to Detective Claude every time he gets the jitters and want to guilt trip someone. I'm like, I'm so sick of him, y'all. Like, it ain't funny. The next thing we see is Prater admiring how he answered the questions to his interview, because it gives staged as hell. Like, something is very wrong with Leon's character. Y'all let me know down in the comments what y'all think is wrong with him, because this man, something ain't right. And Charlie comes in storming like, yeah, we got a problem. And he like pauses the TV all rude and shit, like, what? And he was like, well, Mira's been captured. The problem is I can't get to her because the FBI might move her. And he just checks her like, did I hire you to deal with any problems? She's like, yes, sir. Then he was like, okay, didn't deal with it. And then he just clicks back on everything. I was like, bitch? I'm like, sorry, yeah, we would have to fight right after that, because who was you talking to? But then she storms out on business, and I guess she takes that as motivation to go try to help Mira out of that situation. Then we also see Detective Claude on a scene with her partner as they see all the stage evidence. And her partner tells her, looks like your theory about the hero complex was right, since we know that Mira's false identity was Lady Vengeance, and she seeked out predators and assaulters. So he was like, it doesn't really feel like a win, because I feel like she knows something's off. Like, it's also, it kind of seems too convenient, since she still has her eyes locked on Harrison. Doesn't help Batista, annoying ass, looking at his detective wall with Ginger Snap photo still all on it, and talking about like, what? Because the news announced Lady Vengeance as Ryan's killer and everything, and other victims of hers. And he just in astonished, like, how the hell? But I'm pretty sure he knows Ginger Snap has something to do with it. I'm like, yeah, you're gonna have to find out the hard way, sir. Still not learning. We see Elsa also at the hotel congratulating Harrison on finally being exonerated, since they caught Ryan's killer. And she's like, look, they caught his killer. He's all like, what? I'm like, okay, don't talk too much, because then you're gonna make me have to backhand you real quick. Like, sorry, you talk too much. And he's just in shock, and then he quickly runs to Ginger Snap's house like, did you have something to do with this? And then Ginger Snap's just like, come on in, because I ain't got time to be yelling at you through the door. So they sit down and talk, have a father-son chat, and he tells Harrison, like, look, I'm sorry if I ever tried to make you just like me and mold you into this killer like me. You don't have to live like that. Consider yourself like done with this type of lifestyle. I want you to live a peaceful, happy life, and I want the best for you. Because I learned that life isn't all about killing, and the reason I am living is because of you, and you're all I have. I'm like, period, because at the end of the day, he is the only family that Ginger Snap has at the moment, since Harry's gone, Deborah's gone, like, Rita's gone. He lost a lot of people close to him, so he has no choice but to be a good role model for Harrison's annoying, jittery ass. And Harrison finally concedes and actually eases up on him. I was shocked with that. He was like, you're all I have too. So it seems like he finally come to an amicable agreement that he will let Ginger Snap stay in his life, and they'll try to live a somewhat peaceful life the best way they can. And I'm interested to see how this ends up, y'all. And an episode wraps up with Charlie going to visit Mira in the jail cell, and Mira's like, don't worry, I'm not gonna like blab and talk about the exploits with Prater and, you know, the occult and everything. And then she was like, your friend truly appreciates it. She was like, okay, so what are you doing here then? She was like, well, our friend's gonna make sure your time here is comfortable and as short as possible. So I wonder if that's code for that they're gonna give her like a quick death, like death by lethal injection kind of thing, or are they gonna somewhat be able to break her out of there? Because that's insane. I wonder how Charlie's gonna pull this off, because it seems like I'm going with more of the latter, like they're gonna try to break her out somewhat. Like maybe Charlie's gonna impersonate like a guard or something, or have some guards impersonate some guards, you know, I don't know. It seems a bit convoluted, but they're definitely gonna find a way to get Mira out of there. I definitely think so, or she might end up getting killed, who knows. So yeah, Murder Horny, definitely a great episode. I would say it was straight to the point, cut and dry. And another one of my favorite moments is when Ginger Snap ordered another sterile trophy case for him to collect his blood samples and put it in Joy's old hiding spot where she used to hide her recreational activities. So I'm definitely interested to see how this season's gonna end, because I wonder if this is gonna completely get Harrison off the hook and if he's gonna stop being a jittery mess. And I wonder if Mira is gonna bite the dust later on, since she got herself caught, and I wonder if that's gonna bring too much attention to Leon's group as well, since when they notice Lowell's missing. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed the episode, 10 out of 10. And if y'all not watching Dexter Resurrection or Dexter Original Sin or Dexter New Blood and Dexter the first show, just watch them all on Paramount Plus or Showtime, because y'all definitely missing out. I would say if you want a strong, consistent storyline and an entertaining watch, this is definitely the show with some crime and a tinge of drama. This is definitely it. So I'm Treacherous Slayer, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.